Should Christians be smoking and drinking? That's the question. My name is Jim, and thanks for visiting my channel, Finding God's Presence. That's a very good question. Let's just change the question a little bit. Should I be drinking or smoking? Well, I'll give you a little history here. When I was probably 13, I was smoking in the house. I had permission from my parents. And back then the rules were a lot more relaxed than they are now. So I was smoking, and when I became a teenager, I still smoked. And I became a Christian, I still smoked. And I tried to quit, and it was hard to quit. Smoking is an addiction. And I tried to quit. I could not quit. I prayed about it. No matter what, I could not quit smoking, and I tried. So people sometimes need an event to happen that really triggers the response to quit smoking. Sometimes it's cancer. Sometimes it's a health issue of some sort. For me, I was laying in bed, and I don't wear a shirt when I sleep, and I felt this cold on my chest. I thought, what is that? I opened up my eyes, and sitting on my chest was my ashtray, my cigarettes, and my matches. And I looked over to my left, and my son, who was probably 5 at the time, 5 or 6, said, "Here, Daddy, here's your cigarettes." And I thought to myself, my mom smoked, my dad smoked, my sister smoked, and I smoked. Now I've got 4 boys. What kind of an example am I leaving for those 4 boys? And that was the event. And I believe God put that event there. That was the event that allowed me to quit smoking cold turkey. Until then, I could never quit. Okay. Let's talk about drinking for a minute. Drinking destroys marriages. Drinking destroys job careers. Drinking tears families apart. Drinking even is the result of drinking is people's deaths. So drinking is also an addiction. So should it be right or wrong for a Christian to drink? Well, let's look into it a little bit deeper. Let's not say, should Christians stop drinking and smoking, or not drink and smoke? Maybe the question should be, should I drink or smoke? So drinking and smoking, if you look at drinking and smoking as a sin, let's say you look at it as a sin for a minute. The person who smokes, I can walk up to him and talk to him, and I can smell the cigarette smoke on him, on his breath, and I can smell the cigarette smoke on his clothes. And I can look at that person and say, you are sinning. You are sinning. You're not allowing your body to be a temple unto the Lord. So you are sinning. Just hold that thought for a minute. Don't click off. Just hold off for a minute. Okay, so the person who comes up to me and I'm talking to him, and he's impaired, or even if he's not impaired, if I smell the breath on him, I can say he's got a sin of drinking. Okay, so now I'm putting myself in a position where I'm judging these two people. I'm judging the smoker, and I'm judging the drinker. And I'm saying, okay, they shouldn't drink, they shouldn't smoke. Now I'm going to be a judge, and I'm going to decide that they're doing a sin. Okay, well, let's look at a little deeper than that then. Let's go to, what about the guy who comes up and sits beside me, and he's got a suit and tie on, dressed nice, talks to me nice and politely, and I think to myself, yeah, he's not a drinker, and he's not a smoker. Yeah, I can get along with this guy really good. But you know something? He's got a sin too. I just can't see it. He's got a sin of adultery. Or he's got a sin of being a womanizer. Or he's a thief. He's stealing from work. But I just can't see the sin. So I can't judge him. I've judged these other two people, but I can't judge him. But he's also a sinner. Okay, let's look at it a little bit deeper again. I have a sin in my life. I'm going to tell you guys right up what it is. I do have a sin in my life. And we all have sins of some sort. My sin, I hate to admit it, it's the sin of gluttony. I mean, I love going to Eastside Mario's. I spend lots of time in Swiss Chalet. I mean, I'm in a hurry, I'll zip by Wendy's or Harvey's. And there's times when I eat that I'm not really hungry, but the food is good. And I've even been in social gatherings where there's been a buffet set, and everybody's eating, and they say, go up, have some seconds. Go up, have some thirds. You know, some of these cruise lines, I haven't been on a cruise ship, but I mean, some of these cruise lines, there's all kinds of food. You can eat all day and all night if you want. Gluttony is a sin. So there's lots of sins out there. So I'm judging the smoker and I'm judging the drinker because I can see their sin. But there's all kinds of other people that have sins. So let's put this more into perspective. Instead of saying, should Christians drink and smoke? Or instead of saying, should I drink and smoke? What I should be saying, the question should be, is how can I get closer to the presence of God? And the way I do that is by pouring my life out to Him and sharing my faults, sharing my failures, and trying to grow a closer relationship. And is smoking going to stop us from having a relationship? Absolutely not. Is drinking going to stop us from having a relationship? Absolutely not. But what's going to happen is, for me, for instance, I don't know how many years passed from the time I accepted Christ till the time I quit smoking. But during that time, I was always trying to have a closer walk. And maybe at the time, it was more important to me to have an open heart to people that are lost, or have an open arms to doing different things, whatever, than it was for smoking. But all of a sudden the day came and I wanted to get rid of that, and the day came and it was gone. When my kids were small, from the time the first one was born until the time the last one left the house, I never had alcohol in the house. Not because I didn't want to drink, because if I went to a wedding and I would have a social drink. Not because I didn't want to have a glass of wine once in a while, because if I went out for a special dinner, I would maybe have a glass of wine. The reason I didn't have alcohol in the house is because I didn't want to influence my children, not by setting a bad example. I didn't want to influence them by saying, oh, mom and dad drink all the time, it's okay for me to drink all the time. I want them to make that decision on their own. I'm proud to say that none of my boys smoke, not that they haven't dabbled at it, and none of my boys drink, not that they don't have a social drink once in a while. So I am not in the position to judge the smoker. I'm not in the position to judge the drinker. I've been both. The position I'm in right now is when I see someone who's standing outside a building having a cigarette, I'm not to judge him. I'm to talk to him, and God is the judge of him. And if he wants to take that away from him, he will. And if he doesn't, maybe it's more important rather than take smoking away from the guy, maybe it's more important to have him more humble in a different area in his life. So, no. When it comes to smoking and drinking, adultery, sexual immorality, coveting, stealing, all that stuff, they're all a sin. They're basically all a sin. And we're all sinners. Whatever we do, every day we sin. So, no. Don't judge a smoker. Don't judge the drinker. Don't even judge the guy who's having an affair. Because that's not your responsibility to judge him, and it's not my responsibility to judge him. My responsibility towards that person, towards the person having the affair, my responsibility towards the person that's drinking, my responsibility towards the person that drinks, my responsibility towards that person is to love them. Because I've got sin in my life too. And the sin of gluttony, I got to work on that. And the sin of gluttony is no different than any other sin. Anything that's not making your body a temple unto the Lord is a sin. What if it's profanity? It's a sin. What if it's judging people and being mean to people and talking down on people? It's a sin. Our responsibility in this life is to love God, love our country, love our peers, and try to guide people to have that same love for others. Our responsibility in this world is not to judge people. That's my viewpoint on it. Be it right, be it wrong. Some of you will agree with me. Some of you may disagree with me. But my viewpoint is that I'm not here to be a judge. I'm here to love everybody. So, subscribe to my channel and push that subscribe button down there. And I'll bring you more videos. And the purpose of this channel is not to teach you everything I know, because I don't know very much. The purpose of this channel is to have you rethink some of your thoughts. Because it's so easy for us to go out and say that person's sexual orientation doesn't coordinate with me. And it's easy for us to say, oh, look at that person. No. What about that person who's homeless? Look at that person. They're homeless. They got an old coat on, pushing a shopping cart. What's with that? You don't know where that person came from. You have no idea where that person came from. That person may have just had some trauma happen in their life, and they have nobody to love them. That's your job. That's my job. We need to love that person, because that person is going to have a lot more people judging them and looking down on them. So we need to be there for them, to support them. And maybe it's a drug addiction. Whatever. We're not the judge. We're not the judge of any of these things. I was a smoker. I was a drinker. I don't do drugs, but I could have very easily got trapped into that. So, love one another, and Just try to be an example to other people. Talk to you later.